All right, good afternoon and good evening, everybody who's joining us virtually. My name is Colton Marchessault. I am the current Vice President and Program Director of the Vertical Flight Society Arizona chapter out here in Mesa, Arizona. Tonight we have a few people joining us from both the Philadelphia chapter as well as our Redstone chapter, so we really appreciate their attendance. As a reminder, as you can see from your chat window that you have on probably the right or left side of the screen, all of your cameras and all of your microphones have been muted by default. That is so there are no interruptions during the presentation. We do not allow anybody to turn on their microphones throughout the duration of the presentation. So when we start getting to our Q&A period, feel free to submit a question at any point during the presentation. The way that you can do that is on your GoToWebinar control panel. There should be a little drop down for either chat or questions. Inside the questions window is what we prefer that you use. You can type into a highlighted field, and you may type in any question that you wish to ask Stu at any point. We will do a Q&A session for about 15 minutes towards the end of the presentation as time allows. If need be, if we do have a surplus of questions that do not get answered, we will be able to pass on those unanswered questions over to Stu, and he will reach out to you as he sees fit to answer your questions. I do want to mention really briefly that, at least for the Arizona chapter, our next event that we are looking forward to is going to take place hopefully in the first quarter of next year in 2022. We are looking to try to return to our in-person programs, our dinner meetings, assuming that COVID sort of allows for that. We did have a small announcement that went out last month, in the month of November. And unfortunately, as we led up to this in-dinner presentation, we found out that with rising COVID concerns, we actually couldn't hold the meeting anymore. So be on the lookout for that announcement as it comes out sometime in the next coming months. That will be at the Sheraton Mesa over at Sheraton Wrigleyville out in Mesa, just off the 101-202 junction. So we will send out more information as that solidifies. Beyond that, I don't believe we have any additional chapter announcements from either the Redstone or Philadelphia chapter. So we're going to go ahead and begin our presentation with Mr. Stuart Hartwell. Stuart is currently the Director of Army Business Development at Teledyne FLIR, where he's responsible for strategic growth and customer support on defense programs. Prior, Stuart worked for Erickson Incorporated Aviation Services as the Director of DNS Sales and Parker Lord as the Senior Manager of Defense Business Development. Stuart has over 35 years experience in Aerospace Defense Systems. A retired Army Aviator, Stuart is also the President of the Night Stalker Association Huntsville chapter. Stuart has advanced degrees from Auburn University and Embry Riddle Aeronautical University. And with that, Stuart, feel free to turn on your webcam and the floor is yours, sir.
All right, thank you, Colton, and thanks to the chapter for inviting me to speak tonight. So I am Stu Hartwell, and on behalf of Teledyne FLIR, I'm going to give you guys a presentation on some of our airborne capabilities. Next slide, please. We're going to start the evening telling a little bit about Teledyne and Teledyne FLIR. So FLIR Systems, Inc. was acquired by Teledyne Technologies in this last year. The acquisition was announced in January and proceeded rapidly and was complete in May of 2021. So we're still feeling out how that all plays out in the end, but it's so far so good. Teledyne, of course, is a diversified high technology company working in several different markets, comprised of 77 companies. In 2016, Teledyne essentially has grown over the years, primarily through acquisition. They work in aerospace and defense, automation, water quality, environmental, electronics design, development, oceanographic research, and energy and medical and pharmaceutical imaging. They work a lot of niche technologies. Next slide, please. So made up of 4 different business segments: instrumentation, digital imaging, aerospace and defense electronics, and engineered systems. Represents Teledyne's family of businesses. Teledyne FLIR falls within the digital imaging sector of Teledyne. When Teledyne acquired FLIR, for comparison at the bottom of the slide there, in 2018, Teledyne was a $2.9 $9 billion company, and FLIR was a $1.8 billion company. Rising up, FLIR's remained, had some growth over the years, about 1.9 when we were acquired, and Teledyne was about 3.1. So Teledyne was slightly larger than FLIR, so they won that piece of it, and had been working to acquire FLIR for quite some time. Next slide, please. So within the digital imaging business unit, led by Dr. Edwin Rocks, there's instrumentation, digital imaging, aerospace defense, and engineered systems. Within there, in digital imaging, we've got machine vision, medical and life sciences, aerospace defense, geospatial, semiconductors, and scientific. So FLIR falls within the aerospace and defense segment of digital imaging. We're in the sector's made up of several of Teledyne's acquired businesses. Next slide. So when we break it down further to Teledyne FLIR, we're primarily two segments, four business units. We have industrial technologies segment and our government and defense technologies segment. Our industrial technologies encompass everything from our commercial products to like our, various medical testing, optical equipment, to our Raymarine business line with radars and EOIR systems. And we used to have a segment that had commercial weapon sights for use for pretty much everybody out there, and we've kind of backed away from that one. But a lot of different areas, a lot of where we sell individual camera cores that are integrated into other systems, and those types of things in our industrial technologies. In government and defense, we have two business units there, unmanned and integrated systems and surveillance. UAS is primarily all of our detection capabilities from a defense perspective with chemical, nuclear, biological detection systems, our drone systems, and then our otherwise integrated systems where we've taken multiple products and put them in one package. Surveillance is primarily focused on our airborne gimbals, our land systems using EOIR, land and maritime, and then our man-portable systems along with radars, lasers, and optics that we sell individually. Next slide. All right, so looking at Teledyne FLIR, government defense, we've got our UAS solutions like I just spoke to, and many of you are familiar with our drone products from Skyraider to our Black Hornet system, and then you can see in the center there's an integrated system on that ground vehicle where we've got multiple sensors integrated onto that particular platform. Along there's on your right of your screen is a chemical detection unit, to full system monitoring on the lower right, to our robotics division where we have unmanned robots with chemical detection and EOIR systems integrated into them. And if anyone is interested in our UAS solutions, they can reach out to me and I can get you connected with the right people there. My primary focus continues to be on our surveillance product line. So if you go next slide, please. All right, again, the surveillance product line, we've got everything from airborne gimbal systems to shipboard gimbal systems, to radars, to lasers, to man-portable and integrated land systems. So this particular slide kind of shows the breadth of our offering to government systems. We also, besides the DoD, we serve all branches of the military, and then we also serve airborne law enforcement, Customs and Border Patrol, U.S. Coast Guard, the entire DHS family, Department of State, and other government agencies with our surveillance products. Currently, my official title, like it was I'm the Army Business Development Director. I'm also currently covering down on airborne law enforcement, Department of State, Customs and Border Patrol, Latin America, and Canada. So, and that's all systems man-portable to airborne gimbal systems. So for the Vertical Flight Society, most interest, I would presume, would be in our airborne gimbal systems. So I'm going to move to the next slide. So from airborne systems, starting on the upper left to right, we've got our 380X product family, which is an upgrade we're going to discuss tonight on our 380 systems. Next, you have a 380 HD, followed by a 380 HDC, followed by a Star 3. So on the top row, those are generally a 15-inch, 14.8, what we would call a 15-inch family systems on the top row, with the one on the upper left, the Star 3, being one of our oldest systems still being offered. On the bottom row, we have an Ultraforce 275, or correction, an Ultraforce 350, followed by Ultraforce 275 HD in black, and then our Talon MMS system, and then the largest of our product family, the Bright Star 3, which is one of our development programs currently ongoing that I'll brief in a bit. So next slide. And if you could open the next slideshow. So we're going to discuss the Star Sapphire 380X upgrade for our 380 product line. And the reason is many of these features are being integrated across our entire family of systems. So we've got all of our products are primarily named on their size in a millimeter. So 380, 280, 240, 230, 275, 350, and so forth. So you can do the conversion in inches. It's everything essentially. Our smallest gimbals are in the 9-inch family, and our largest gimbals are just below 20-inch. When we, many years ago, several years back, when we looked at what to do with our existing products and what we can bring to the marketplace, we had some nice stabilized gimbals, but we wanted to bring more capability to them. So we embarked on a program, the X program, and that is to change out the electronics modules and give them much more robust computing capability on board, on platform. So that became our upgrade for our 380 product line. And like I said, all of those features are being put into most of our other gimbal products, especially the larger 15 and 19.8 size for sure. Next slide. So really we're going after intelligent imaging, and we wanted to reduce operator workload, aid the decision-making process. We wanted to give customizable configurations. We wanted to be able to offboard the input to a touchscreen format, so we can reduce the size and scope of operator terminal if desired. We did work on integrating our moving target indicator. So we took a lot of technology that we had off board the gimbal platform and put it in the gimbal, thus reducing the total number of required LRUs. And then from a picture standpoint, we worked on what we call a descintillation filter that removes a lot of the atmospheric effects that affect the IR spectrum. Next slide, please. So what is a 380X? So we have an existing 380 product line. We have a 380 HD, the 380 HLD, and the 380 HDC. The HDC is the compact version. And the 380X, like I said, we modify the electronics and we call it the skillet, which is the top portion of the gimbal. So we incorporated all these new technologies that I'm going to brief you on here in a second, all into the skillet. And it is available as an upgrade to existing 380 systems. So a current operator of a 380 can have his gimbal upgraded to the 380X capabilities. And then you can also purchase a complete system as well. So we've got it twofold there, not only an upgrade, but available for complete purchase. Next slide, please. So what does it really do? We've got incorporated the options for multiple video management, so you can view multiple camera inputs at the same time versus having to switch your screen to an alternate camera from EO to IR to SWIR and so forth. In legacy systems, you would have to rotate through cameras in your on your screen to see, and now we have a tiled view where you can view multiple cameras at once. We improved our targeting and our auto tracker with updated algorithms, and moving the moving target indicator on board helped with that enhancement. So it's much better performing, good algorithms or improved algorithms for following a moving target when lock is broken, like a car going under an overpass. It's doing the math better and reacquiring on the other side, those types of events. Complete new user interface, new menus, controllable menus that you can customize at your own level to have in there the things that you need. And then better clarity with a descintillation filter. And then we are working augmented reality. So currently I have some shots of what's currently available today, but we will have the complete ability to do backwards addressing to maps and have a full augmented overlay, reality overlay to include NATO graphics that can be imported and placed within your field of view. And then one of the big additions was an external camera input. Whether you have another host camera or you have another FLIR product like a Recon 5, you can, if you've got something pumping out video, you can pump it into this device and have it displayed on your screen. Next slide, please. So again, multiple video management. You can see the tiles for view are completely customizable, as is indicated on the left. And you can select which camera's active, which one's not, which one you're working with in a larger view, and then you've got other. So in this particular case, you've got an electro-optical image on the left-hand side of the screen. You have, should be an IR image on the upper right, and I have to look. Sorry, my glasses. Looks like a day TV in the center, and I'm not sure who's on the bottom over there. But you can manipulate those, move them around, and put it at your operator's desire to have him be the most efficient. Next slide, please. Continued on the interface. Again, customizable. You can expedite inputs. So kind of this Windows icon-based management of the gimbal system overall. And again, all the menus are customizable, and then there are a lot of drag and drop or point, click, and select for different views, versus a legacy menu that you can see on the lower left, where you kind of had to go over, open the menu, scroll down, scroll left, scroll right, down for selection. Next slide, please. All right, the clarity through the descintillation filter from a lot of the atmospheric effects on an IR camera. So you can see on the left is just kind of a standard IR view of that object, so you can't really see what's going on in the building, and it's just due to atmospheric effects. And on the right, you can see, put the filter on, pulls that information out, and you should be able to see that there's hay stacked in the barn if we blew that up where it would be an operational view. So you can see, in theory, someone could be hiding in the barn in some of the areas on the left, and you would be able to pick them up on the right. Next slide, please. This is another view using the electro-optical view. You can just see, just pulling out those finer details. And we're probably going to pop through another slide because my product guys really like this filter, so they have a lot of slides they show. So next slide. And again, just another example of the filter and IR. Next slide, please. All right, and this is, again, with improved targeting, got a good moving target indicator, and you can have it pick on one, or you can have it, it'll highlight anything that's moving on your screen. There's a lot of different ways to work with the moving target indicator. But again, that once you select a target, the tracking has been drastically improved from legacy versions. Next slide. All right, augmented reality, this is what I was speaking to. So you can have street overlays. Again, we're just now finishing up the backwards addressing. So you can drop and drag and record targets on your menu. You could preload information and have it on there. Kind of a partial, almost full integration between a map interface and your EOIR system looking out there. Next slide. So the previous thing we are almost complete with, it's going to be complete this first quarter of 22. Currently, operators have the capability of either putting in a list ahead of time or dropping them on the fly. These pins you can see on the screen on the left, Alpha 2 and Alpha 5, those are just waypoints that or points of interest that somebody dropped in the system. And again, you could upload things prior, or you could do them on the fly as you go. And then when you, no matter what angle you're looking at, if you've have them turned on for view, they're going to be in your field of view, field of regard for reference. Next slide. Same thing here in IR. Next slide. All right, can we go back to the other presentation, please? So when we look at what we did with 380X and the X platform, like I said, we are taking these technologies to our other systems. And as we look out to the future, we have a whole family of systems across it that a whole lot to go into in an hour. But I wanted to talk about some of our future developments. So we have a BrightStar 2 system currently fielded on H-1s and Marine Corps, and we are well into final development of the BrightStar 3 platform. It is a 19.3 by 20 inch gimbal. The gimbal itself weighs in at about 132 pounds. Really, it's going to round out to be about 160-pound gimbal at the end of the day. Of course, it's going to have, it currently has all the things you would expect in a large targeting gimbal. It's got an eye-safe laser range finder, laser designator, laser pointer, laser spot tracker, and then all the cameras that we could shove inside a 20-inch gimbal, essentially. So everything, EO, IR, SWIR, different fields of view, different types of zoom, and to include a long wide field of view camera. So this platform is finishing up initial qualification right now. We expect it to be low rate initial production in 23 with full release in 24. That's the current schedule on the BrightStar 3. We are currently demoing our engineering unit that we're using for qualification. So if you get a chance to attend one of our demos on it, so from a targeting perspective, it is a very good piece of equipment, integrating newer technologies, so better laser. We've got some field of views and zoom capabilities that other cameras don't have, and again, from a targeting laser perspective, it's performing very well in that 20-inch family. So, and then next slide. All right, one of our other development programs is our neural network target classifier. And it's for aided target recognition. It's being integrated across our family of products to include our UIS drones. The picture on the left is from a Skyraider product from UIS, one of our quadcopters. You can see it's outlining the truck and the two men in the photo. And then this is like a command screen view where you can see where in the upper left of that view where the drone is and where the target area is. And then you can see on the upper right, it's identifying a person with a weapon. And then in the lower right-hand side, we've got a person, a vehicle, and a tank that are being identified and classified. So our neural network target classifier is working to take the image and then identify what the target is. What we're doing different from others, what the breakthrough technology here is, we're working to grow our target libraries using synthetic data. So instead of taking 10,000 pictures of that guy with a gun, we're working on 1 or 2 photographs with a guy with a gun and extrapolating the rest to create his image algorithm synthetically. So where that comes into play is, not too many people, well, a few people these days do, but getting access, let's say back in the 80s, to some information on that T-72 tank would pose a little bit of a challenge. So we create the image synthetically based on a limited number of images versus an unlimited number of images. And then over time, the system learns by gaining success and probabilities or failures and probabilities. Then we tune the system. And then as more information becomes available on the target of interest, say we get more photos, we incorporate that information into the algorithm to improve accuracy. So that's kind of a down and dirty layman's on synthetic data for target classification. With that, that's pretty quick, only like 20 minutes. I think that should be the end of the presentation. Next slide. All right, so which gives us more time for question and answers.
All right, and just to make sure that my audio is working, you can hear me right, Stu?
Yep, I'm clear.
Okay, so I think we have a question from Tanya Reinert, our president over here at Mesa, VFS Arizona. She said, very important presentation. Thank you, Stuart. The augmented reality feature is very impressive. What are the environmental limits for the STAR SA FLIR? Max min temp, cooling flow needed. Also, is it mid-wave IR only?
No, it's EO, midwave, and SWIR, and then you can have a low light camera as well. And that's just off the top of my head. So no, we've definitely gone to incorporating SWIR. As far as op temps, I can't pull that off the top of my head. Sorry, you guys are. Let me open something up on that. Sorry, working with another device here, and sorry for the delay. Should have been prepped better for you guys. No, that's okay. Yeah, I'm technically challenged. Sorry, it just got really bright for you guys. What I can say is it's fully qualified in the airborne environment. Star Sapphires are operating on a host of platforms, not only rotary wing, but fixed wing as well. So how about this? Let's be more efficient if I take a note to get back with Tanya on that.
You got it.
So just in the interest of time and other questions, and then if I've got a whole host of spec questions, then I'm going to pull up some sheets for you.
I don't think there's a whole host of spec questions, but we do have a couple at least that we can go through, and we'll see kind of as they trickle in still.
Yep.
So Tanya, Stu will reach back out to you to answer the remainder of your question. We'll move down to Gary's first question that he has. Typically, how far in range can these vision systems see? And he has a follow-up question to that, so I'll ask that in a minute.
So from a DRI, detect, recognize, kind of point of view. So how far out, we can see. We're talking about 12 Ks and from I'm going to detect it at 12 Ks or longer, depending on atmospherics. And identifying at 8 and recognize, detect, recognize, and sorry, I got myself flustered here. Anyways, kind of 12 Ks and in is always a good sign. I know. Sorry, I'm trying to work another system here real quick.
Yeah, Gary's follow-up had said that he saw that in one of the images that it says that the barn images were up to 8 miles out, and that's real, yeah?
Yeah, no, that is real, and good catch, Gary. Sorry, I'm not a little more up to high speed on getting these answers out to you guys. But yeah, no, those are 8-mile shots. So it definitely reaches out from a view perspective. Again, I'm a little cautious always on talking DRI numbers because somebody will tell me that that's impossible. So that's why I usually stick with 12 Ks and in. Sorry. I'm trying to quickly pull information. Had a little trouble with it. I'm getting my butt kicked there on my other system. So next question.
So that'll be Gary's last question then, and then we'll move over to the questions about real quick. Gary asked, are there FLIR products mounted to rifles, and how far can they see?
Oh, man, I should have prepped better. Yes, no, we have man-portable and rifle-mounted products. So we're talking, how far can they see? Well, again, depending on atmospherics, how far can you engage a target? From the higher end systems, we're talking 4.5, 5 Ks. You're limited by weapon. I know that we've got some vehicle mounted systems that go to 5 to 8 Ks for area targeting, and then 5 Ks and in for point target systems. Those are, so that would be like a vehicle mounted 50 cal, let's say, 5 to 8 for area, 5 and in, or just under 5 and in for point target weapon systems on those. From our long gun assisting weapons, I believe we're working in the same ranges on those weapons as well. You're looking at I'm not going to put a thermal sight on a weapon that's not going to meet the range of that weapon. So, and we've got them all different sizes, all the way down to using I2 devices as well. So we've got thermal sights for weapons, and we also have I2 sights, which would be image intensifier tubes for weapons as well.
And then Gary followed up to say, so basically we can see further than the main weapon. Wow.
Yeah, essentially. I did a demo this summer at Fort Benning, and a lot of it was focused on the like the 50 cal vehicle mounted systems that we were doing sighting for using we use the V4000 sight that we make out of Sweden for that engagement.
Excellent. All right. Question in the questions box from Doug. Are there any dev items not flight qualified yet?
I'm sorry, one more time on that.
Are there any dev or developmental items that are not flight qualified yet?
The only non-flight qualified, completely flight qualified product would be the Bright Star 3. And it'll be done, should be done mid-year next year. We're currently flying it on our own platform. But as far as completely flight qualified, that'll be later that next year. All of our other products are fully qualified. All the ones that are presented tonight.
All right. Go back over to Tanya. Can you tell us more about the ADAS, Automotive and Advanced Driver Assistance Program? Can you share what companies you're working with?
So that is coming out of our industrial group. So I don't have a ton of information. We are, so the ADAS is that full driver assistance program that I think we've demonstrated on some commercial vehicles. And that program is being leveraged by our group in two ways. We're leveraging it for driver's assistance for military vehicles, and we're also leveraging the ADAS technology for our neural network target classifier. So, and I can't tell you who we're working with just because I don't know.
It's usually a pretty good reason.
Yeah, it's not necessarily my I haven't been able to drive the car around the parking lot yet. Let's put it that way. I haven't had the chance. Now, for Tanya, though, we are working multiple. We have a 360 SA product that we have for ground vehicles, which is a like 140-degree field of view, 3-camera module that you can put around the vehicle. You put 4 of them on there, and you got a full 360 situational awareness view. We're working to advance that to not only 360 SA, but a driver vehicle enhancement. So using it similar to ADAS on military vehicles. We're continuing to work on that. Currently, tightening up the biggest challenge for an actual driving vehicle assistance thing is latency. So got to drive latency below a certain point to be able to let somebody's son or daughter drive that tank down the street at high speed and trust the cameras. So, but we are also working that technology on the ground side.
But I just clicked out of there. Can you share any stories using your products here in Arizona or to fight fires or for homeland security? That's also from Tanya.
Yes. So, like, hang on a second. Well, what I can share is I know that so our products are used as an example by the U.S. Park Police in support of Secret Service and other agencies within the National Capital Region every day to do their job. And the U.S. Park Police aircraft fly all day, every day, and essentially every night in support of that region, as well as it's been reported there are monitoring systems that were set up in the National Capital Region as well. That's a version of our RAID or BET-C tower that we provide the radars and the cameras for. It's a security, it's like a fob security system that's put together, and it's basically integrated by a third-party integrator and provided to the U.S. government, commonly referred to as RAID towers. So they're going to have a 380 HD TAC FLIR on them, as well as R2 and R3 radars coming out of our radar division to provide that perimeter security. And those are also being used in the National Capital Region right now. And then our airborne law enforcement folks, let's see, San Diego Police, Phoenix PD, whole host of other law enforcement folks using our products. As far as stories go, I wish I had one of my ALD guys on the phone, because a lot of our customers will send us videos of their success using the systems. And I'm sorry, I didn't even think to have any to share with you guys tonight. Should have done a better job there.
Sometimes stories happen. It's all good.
Yeah, I mean, I've got some of my own personal ones, but I don't necessarily want to throw those out there. You know what? When it comes down to it, when I think about what people do with EO/IR systems every day, you know, a lot of these products are utilized to provide security or intelligence, but how are they saving lives every day? So we've got the Talon product is on all the U.S. Army medevac HH-60s, being used by those crews to locate and find survivors in a SAR scenario, and then also used for en route safety and security on the platform. The gimbaled systems, you know, the use is often limited by the imagination of the user. You know, using gimbaled IR system to, if it has a flight path vector software installed, where you can use it to determine where you're going to be in a little while. You can use these systems to do obstacle avoidance in that manner. I've personally done that using flight path vector. Like, do I have enough power to clear that mountain? Well, if I put it on flight path vector and point my aircraft at it and apply max power, it'll tell me if I'm going to clear or not. Using it to detect obstacles, you know, looking at your landing zone or where you're going to help clear the area, not only from an obstacle but a threat perspective, and which is one of the reasons we're incorporating a lot of this, the neural network target classifier and things. We'll be able to, the system will be able to pick things up before we can as a human. We recently were working with some counter UAS work and some operators, and one of the things that I found was interesting on that, we were using the EO/IR system to detect various types and sizes of UAS, and generally the system would detect an object well before an operator would. So that was really interesting to me. So we were using that our AITR software package to pick up on UAS, and then the system between the EO/IR and the radar we were using was queuing operators to targets well before they would detect them. So that was a big win. So as we integrate these new technologies into this older technology of EO/IR, we're focusing on having systems to reduce that workload for operators and then improve their performance. And that particular event that I was at clearly demonstrated those capabilities of just some technological tweaks to make an operator way more efficient.
All right. Well, we have put a plug into the chat window to see if anybody was able to submit any final questions. Tanya said, excellent. Thank you very much, Stuart. If anybody has any final questions they would like to submit, please go ahead and do so right now. We'll give everybody about a minute or so to type up any last minute questions they have. And if we do not, you know, we'll still stay respectful of everybody's time, and we can go from there on the evening. So please take a minute if you would like to enter any final comments or questions for Stuart into the chat window or the questions window, and we'll ask the first ones as they come through. And Stuart, we really appreciate. Go ahead, sorry.
I just wanted to say I want to thank everybody for their time tonight. Again, sorry, I was a little slim on some of the deep technical details, but I'm always available to talk with and provide that information